my doctor 3 years ago when we kind of discovered this whole thing was like, some of these go away, some of them don't. They usually take surgery. And I heard. Do you want to know what I heard? This will go away. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I already hit record, so we're going. Andy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You do that. You like blindside me. It's like getting hit by a 1, 2, 3 record button.
Back in the studio, you got to watch out. You don't know when it's coming. Everybody, welcome to the Make Trades Great Again podcast. I'm Eric. He's Andy. Andy, we just got off of the big trade show run and episodes recorded with people on the road, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, No, it's kind of been a whirlwind. We were talking about it. Here we are. It's a Friday morning, and we're recording. And I, got up, came out to the shop, and I'm like, I hope all my stuff works because I haven't recorded anything for like a month.
I know. I've been everything on my end was all messed up. My microphone's all discombobulated for adjustment. My computer, I'm like,
for software updates.
Well, I'm like, oh, yeah, exactly. I know. And then I'm just trying to figure out my camera. I'm like, what in the world? And here's me trying to do it at the very last. I got 2 minutes because we have the starting time, right?
Yeah. Yesterday didn't exist, so it's fine.
I know. It's crazy, but it's funny. Everything's just a little bit off, and I'm leading up to. On Monday, I'm getting surgery on my hand. Just my first carpal tunnel surgery of 2. So I have 2 hands. So I'm getting both done.
Yeah. Okay. Both lefts.
Left.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I got 2 left hands right now. I tell you that much. Or I bet you I'm probably going to feel like I have 2 left hands next week. And you just had a surgery recently too. And so today we were just that's a great idea. I thought you were spot on. Let's talk about that a little bit and just being more or less proactive, I guess, because you and I both sort of approached our surgeries the same way. Very typical.
Yeah, exactly.
I
totally
think,
did.
Put them off.
Typical.
Right?
Yep. But I'll do that another day.
Yep.
But guess what? Did you know that another day is not actually a day of the week?
Yeah. I keep looking on the calendar and it doesn't say anywhere another day.
Never on the calendar.
I was like, I got to wait till a leap year, and then now it's a leap year, so we're screwed. I'm like,
there it is.
It's time to do it,
and it's February, so you might as well do it February of a leap year, right?
Well, it's that whole, excuse my language, moms and dads with small kids in the car. It's that whole shit or get off the pot kind of thing. Yeah, it's really. I mean, this is pretty appropriate for that. It's just you just got to do it, right?
Right.
Well, so carpal tunnel, it's like. It happens, and it has really nothing to do with anything other than time. And like it can happen if you don't do manual labor like we do, or it can happen if you do. Like it's just a thing. Your body, everybody's either going to have it or not, more or less. I mean, that sounds stupid to say it that way, but it's really how the doctor explained it to me. Is like some people have it, some people don't, and it's probably more. Common in people that are working with their hands and doing manual labor. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
So anyway, it's also, I come to find out in this whole process, because as soon as somebody talks about like cutting me open, I'm like, is there an alternative? And not that I'm afraid of it, but if I can avoid it, I'm down with other alternatives. And they told me in this whole kind of description of what's going to happen and how it works and the whole process in general is that it's really one of the most predictable outcome surgeries there are.
That's perfect.
Yeah. I guess it's even better than like having a tooth pulled or something, because like the odds of having an infection of your tooth, after that are like way higher than having any complications from something like this.
Yeah. Huh. So that's interesting. And so orthoscopic type thing, little camera.
No,
surgery?
they put it. So, excuse me. I don't have to be put to sleep. I think some people might have to, based off of like maybe other health conditions, or if you just don't do well with like local anesthesia or anything like that. And so they just basically drape a sheet in between you and the doctor, strap your arm down to a table really well, so you can't move. And then they numb you up, and you can't see what's going on. And they just make an incision and they do it's a release thing. So like it just opens up the area where your nerves are passing through, right? Basically at the base of the palm of your hand and your wrist. Like that's pretty much where this all resides. And they're trying to open up the space in which your nerves are going through. Your nerves are being, there's pressure on them, and it's making it very, in my case, my hand, it's very painful at times. And it's numb, and like my thumb now, it's progressed to the point where like my thumb is like 100% numb all the time. And they're hoping that, and that's not uncommon either, but they're hoping that the surgery just takes care of it and it comes back to normal.
Right.
But I started this process well over a year ago, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I mean, it's kind of busy right now. I give myself every excuse, right?
Oh yeah. Well, it's the same way with mine. I mean, it was like, should have had it done 2 or 3 years ago.
And you had a hernia surgery, so it's like it feels a little more invasive. Like they're actually making, like mine is going to be, I could go to work the next day if I'm just careful.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're telling me.
Yeah. My recovery basically was, I didn't have a hernia surgery. It was basically a muscle repair.
Oh, okay.
From a hernia surgery that was 15 years ago.
Oh, I got you. So the muscle had or opened up or something?
Yeah, basically, basically they went in and they made this repair, and the deal was I had a row of stitches about 2 inches long.
Oh wow!
So it was a pretty good sized incision, but I was on a 10-pound duty cycle for 2 weeks, and that sucked. Because around the house, you're like, okay, well, what can I do? Well, I can't lift the dog food.
No.
You can't lift the dog's water. You can't move a chair.
Jug of milk, a full jug of milk is right around 10 pounds, FYI.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. 1 gallon of milk is probably a little over 9 pounds. So you're right there at the threshold. Yeah. So you start thinking like that, and you're like, oh, well, geez.
Can't pick up your tool bag.
Can't pick up a tool bag for sure. And so, it was just, that was, I think, when I talked to a doctor about getting this thing done, years ago, I was like, there'll be a better time in the future.
There's always going to be a better time.
There won't. Yeah. Like when I'm dead. I mean, like, and and that was the thing is this whole surgery was basically a comfort thing, way probably important than what your thing is.
Well, you were gauging it off of like how, when it gets real bad, I'll get it taken care of. Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then at that point you're like, oh, it's real bad. Now I need to wait.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. They don't schedule this next week. You don't go in today and get something scheduled next week. I scheduled mine weeks ago for the first available. That wasn't while we were out of town at AHR. You know what I mean? Like it was like, what?
That was kind of the way mine was. And I was like, oh yeah, let's schedule this here in the next couple of weeks. Let's just do it, And finally I was like, had my mindset, and the guy's like, okay, well, my office manager will call you and we'll get set up with surgery center. And I'm like, all right. And they called, and this was like in November.
Oh.
And she's like, okay, well, looks like we can do it on, this date in December. And that was the same weekend we were in New York.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do that. And she's like, okay, well, the next one's whatever, January 10th or whatever. And I'm like,
yep.
That's like 60 days.
Yeah. And it's heating.
You don't have anything sooner? She's like, yeah.
And
the beginning of December. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Yep. Well, here's me So here's me doing my carpal tunnel surgery in the middle of heating season.
Yeah, well,
why not do it in the summer when I'm really not even all that busy? I'm practically retired all summer long. In comparison to heat, you know what I mean? So it's like, what am I doing here? I put mine off. I was telling you before we hit record, like, I don't know why, because I have the facts. I'm very much I don't really question what the doctor says that much. I mean, I listen to him, I think about it, and I haven't been given anything to question. I don't feel.
Right.
And so I know that it being a very predictable outcome, it's very common. This doctor's done like hundreds and hundreds of these surgeries, right? It's his friggin' job.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like it's fill-in work between all the other things that this orthopedist does, right? And so I find myself thinking about it though. Now that I've got it scheduled, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also like, I know there's some nervous energy there. I'm going to admit that. I know I'm nervous about it. I don't have any idea why. I think it's probably just natural, just knowing like, you're going to have dude's going to cut into my hand and that's how I make my money, but I'm not any more special than anyone else. Like they do this all the time.
Yeah. And that was my doctor said something similar. He goes, basically here's how this works. We're going to go do this. We're gonna make this incision. We're going to, clear this up. And he goes, and I just want to let you know that basically the risk of complication is basically none. Yeah. And 100% of the complications are operator error. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah,
like after
not
the fact?
Following the instructions after, you're not following your aftercare, after procedure instructions. And I was like, interesting. And he's like, if you don't, right, like if you just are like, screw it, I'm going to go back to work and we're going to not do this whole 10-pound thing for 2 weeks. He goes, I will see you back here. And then the recovery will be 3 to 4 months.
And it'll be way more painful.
And way longer where you're basically going to be not doing anything for 3 to 4 months while all this tissue heals up because you didn't take care of it.
Well, I'm proud of you for taking care of it the right way because I know I was instructed by the boss at your office, the head of the office there.
Head office lady.
Yeah. No, she calls me up and she texts me and stuff, and she's like, Andy's not supposed to be working and this and that, and he's coming off of his weight restriction when we're going to HR. Don't let him do any. I'm like, we're just gonna be walking around. And he's like, she just wanted to make sure, and she knows that I would care as much as she, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I kind of laughed at it because I'm like, man, I get it now. I get it it's also a different perspective to look at it, how they, our wives look at it or whatever. Like it is way more serious than we're probably even making it out to be right now. Because like you said, with the healing on your end, like if you screw it up, it's on you. Like all you got to do is just take it easy. And that's a hard one to understand. I'm going to,
yeah, on the exact same note, like you just said, it's heating season.
I know.
Why did I schedule this thing? No, I could have scheduled this back in last summer or the summer before, or maybe even the summer before that.
Well, I could have. I know. I was told that I had this, not by a diagnosis.
Yeah.
A few years ago, just by a doctor, and they're like, "Oh, that's that," but you need to go. It's a specialist procedure. You have to start with the orthopedist, and I'm like, okay, and I just never did because somebody told me I had it. I'm like, well, that's what I got. Yep. Like literally that was the end of it. That's kind
of the way.
And then I'm complaining. I'm like waking up at night. That's when I finally said, get this taken care of. Because it'll wake you up at night. You can't sleep. You wake up and you're, why are my hands numb? And why do they hurt all at the same time? It's like, this is so freaking lame. And that's finally what put me over the edge, is like I wasn't sleeping anymore. And I probably would have put up with it even longer had I not. You know what I mean? Because it also does it during the day, but I'm already awake. So you know what I mean? It's so stupid to say that, but you get what I mean.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. Proactive. Like, look, most people, most people will get like a really bad cold or the flu or something like that.
Yeah.
And just kind of think, that's what I have. I'm going to go to the doctor. They're just going to tell me that. Like, then nothing's going to change. You know what I mean? And that's kind of probably how I approach this myself, to be honest with you.
Yep. My doctor 3 years ago when we kind of discovered this whole thing was like, some of these go away. Some of them don't. They usually take surgery. And I heard, do you want to know what I heard? This will go away.
Yeah.
It's that I've said it a number of times. Customers are going to hear what they want to hear.
That's a great point.
I heard this will probably go away.
No, that's a great point. You're not wrong. I mean, honestly, that you are going to hear what you're going to hear. That reminds me, I have an email I need to reply to because I read it in a reply back. I read his email back to me after a proposal, and it was like, you didn't hear everything I said, did you? And you're right. Mm-hmm. It's because he heard what he wanted to hear.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna get the surgery. I'm just a few days away from it. apparently I'm thinking about it, and I must have a little bit of nervous energy. But I'm sure people listening to this, someone listening to this has had this surgery and is probably just like, don't worry about it.
Oh,
Get over it. You know,
just go do it. Move
and
on.
while I agree with
Move on
that,
life.
I also fully admit, like I said, and I'm not like ashamed of it. I just fully admit, like, I had to acknowledge it, put it that way. And talking about it with you actually helps a little bit, is that I know I'm nervous about it because I'm thinking about it.
You're thinking about it. It's a procedure.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. I mean, yeah.
Look, so when can I tell you another hand story though?
Yeah.
This is, I don't know if I've ever talked about this I don't know why I would have brought this up before.
Well,
but so we're goofing off in my buddy's basement bedroom. We're in 10th grade. Okay. Set the scene. We're goofing off and he's got this, we're about ready to go. Okay. I need, my ADHD's kicking in right now. I need to start at the beginning. I'm in my buddy's basement. Guy I grew up with, best friends. I'm sitting there. He's getting ready. We're going to go to a church softball game. We're going to play for like we were part of the church team through our youth group.
Like co-rec.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, it was
Yeah.
free softball. So we, it was fun.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
play?
And there was cute girls.
Awesome.
So, so where I'm sitting, I can remember this. I'm sitting on the edge of his bed. He's like doing something. I don't know, putting clothes on. I don't know why he didn't have clothes on. And this story's getting weird. But anyway, he's not ready to go. And I'm sitting there in his bedroom just waiting for him. And we're going to pop in my 1985 Ford Escort and drive there. And, or 89. It was an 89 Ford Escort. Anyway, he's got this CO2, propelled powered pellet gun pistol, like a 6-shooter clip in it, like a revolver.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I was looking at it, and I am not kidding you. I was trained with guns at this point. I knew, like, and somehow, some way, I shot my hand right into the palm of my hand.
Oh, jeez.
And there was this, and it was like, wow. But I thought, because I didn't see any pellets in it, I had no idea that A, there was a cartridge in it.
Right.
Or B, the little round clip that you drop in there with the, didn't have any, I didn't see any from the outside, any pellets. And as I spin it, like somehow I pulled the trigger, didn't even realize I did. Like, seriously. Yeah. And the barrel was like close enough to the end of my hand. Or to the end of it was close enough to my hand. I look at my hand, I'm like, wow, that hurt. And there's like this little like red spot, little drop of blood. And I thought like that was just like the force of at the end of the barrel.
CO2
like,
or something.
It wasn't loaded, right? Okay. This is getting long story longer. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, wow, that hurt. And then, but it obviously I didn't shoot myself because I'm like, it was nothing major happening. Anyway, so we go to the church softball game. That's where the church softball game comes in. I'm playing outfield and I catch, it's my left hand that gets hit by that I shot myself with in the left hand, and that's my glove hand. And I catch a fly ball in left field. And I'm like, holy oh, that hurt really bad. And I thought I caught it in the palm instead of the pocket of the glove. I'm like, no big deal. And then, it was like the third out and we run in, and then I'm up to bat that half of the inning, and I hit the ball, aluminum bats. This is softball league, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Softball. I hit the bat, and this is way back before bats were nice. Like these, just basically,
it was like a piece of pipe.
It's basically a piece of pipe with like tape at the end of it, like more or
some
less
electrical tape. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hit that, and it's church pipe. It's like church bats. So like these things are like
it's like a fence
These
post.
are leftovers from like the junior high, gym class.
Yeah, it was the cutoff from the chain link fence on the dugout,
more or less. And they got like dings in it, like dents and stuff.
Yeah.
I hit that ball, and it was a dinger, but it felt like somebody like truly did shoot me in the hand at that point in time.
Jeez.
I was like, what? And I had like instant tears in my eyes almost just from the pain, like the shooting pain. And So I'm like, oh, that's not good. And I'm not telling anybody of this whole thing. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you
yeah.
know more about this now than anybody in my life around me at that, even my buddy whose gun it was. Right. And so I, do the whole thing. I'm just sweating bullets. I go through the game, everything, go home. I wake up the next morning and I too had a basement bedroom, and I wake up and I walk out of the basement and my dad's sitting upstairs and at the, coffee table or something like that. It's early in the morning, school day. And I'm like, Dad, I need to go to the doctor or something like that. Right. And he's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I pulled my hand out of my, off from the side and hold it up. And it's the size of like a grapefruit. My hand, it looked like I had, it was like 4 or 5 hands stacked on. It was like 2 hands stacked on top of each other.
Just swollen tight.
So swollen. It looked like it looked like a grapefruit with little teeny tiny fingers sticking out of the end of it. It's so here, come to find out, it's obvious I know what it was now, but it was the pellet was in my hand, and it was the foreign object my body was reacting to, and it's like, what,
Yeah.
And so there was a pellet. It wasn't just the propellant. And I had to go in and get the surgery, and it was terrible because they couldn't find it. It kept it's round, so it's kept moving out of the way. So they were digging in my hand. I was awake, and it's over here off to the side, strapped to a board.
Yeah.
And my mom's looking at it, and she's like, "Oh," and I'm like, I took one look at it. I'm like, "No." I just they didn't put a sheet between me. It was just off to the side, strapped down, so you could just turn your head and look at it. I'm like, that's the inside of my hand. I don't like that. But it felt like they were pulling my tongue out of my throat through my hand. It was it just felt weird. Anyway, so that's what I got on my mind as I think about my carpal tunnel surgery. That's
it's going to be largely the same.
Why I'm nervous because I'm thinking about
it's going to largely be the same.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the pellet surgery.
Yeah.
Pellet removal.
You'll get in there and there'll be a gurney made out of 2x6s and there'll be a couple of pin nailers there to hold your fingers down.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. Here they give you just some a leather belt. Bite on this, That's right.
Yeah.
No, it's not that bad. I understand that. I mean, look, people deal with a lot worse every single day. And we wanted to, honestly, anybody, if you're still listening, we wanted to talk about this today because it's not that big a deal. You just got to be a little more, you just got to listen to everybody. We're the experts. We're trying to tell people what they need to do, and then we complain when they don't do it. We're doing the same thing.
Quit being a teenager and knowing everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I say that, I say, God, I should have just listened and then, have an argument with my 15-year-old about something stupid that we're, I'm like,
why don't you just do what I told you? I told you to do that. See what I told you?
Right.
And here we are.
You'd just done it 3 years ago.
Here we are not doing it too. All right, dude. Church league softball. Don't shoot yourself in the hand. If they say get the surgery, get the surgery.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Let's go get it taken care of. Move on.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I want to thank everybody for listening, and please hit us up over on the DMs over on Instagram.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on YouTube or listening, you can actually get that. There's a link directly to our Instagram DMs, and you can send us a message. Let us know what you think, what you want to talk about. If you got questions, we'll try to answer them. And we do see all of those, right, Andy?
We do.
They can also email us, right?
Yep. Not at. Make trades great again at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Don't forget the .com. It won't work if you don't.
Make trades great again. It's the maximum amount of characters allowed in a Gmail address. Is that correct?
It's very close. Yes. I don't know what the actual is, but Gmail should technically probably have a maximum characters, and I would guess we're within a few.
You have to use but the only way to really the only way we're gonna read your email is if you send it if you type that out in wingdings, the font wingdings. I only read wingding emails. Did you know that?
That's right. Yeah, That's it. I did not know that.
That's why I've never replied to a single one of your emails.
Can you translate that?
You don't know how to read. Why in the hell does it exist?
You don't know how to ring things?
I can't even say it. Why the hell does it exist in the first place? The hell's a wingding? I don't know.
Yeah.
What if you switched your? Okay, I'm gonna hit stop on the record.
Let's just.
Oh
stop.
man, thanks, man.
Yeah. See ya.